Wilt Chamberlain was excellent at many things, and among those was the fact that he was incredibly efficient from the field. A good example of that was his 1966 to 1967 season, where he was named the league MVP as he shot 68.3% from the field. During one stretch in particular, Wilt was especially hot as he made 35 straight shots without a miss over a 4-game stretch. Included in that stretch was a game against the Baltimore Bullets, where he had one of the greatest triple-doubles ever with 40 points, 30 rebounds, and 10 assists as he shot 18 of 18 from the field. To this very day, 18 shots without a miss is still the NBA record. This is the all-time list of the most MVP awards in NBA history. Sitting at the very top is the captain and the NBA's all-time leading scorer, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, followed by the one and only Michael Jordan and the game's ultimate winner, Bill Russell. The thing is, there has been plenty of MVP caliber seasons throughout the game's history, but quite often, those MVP-worthy seasons were narrowly beaten by someone that the voters simply thought had a better season. So what if the list went by the most top 3 MVP finishes of all time? How would the greatest players stack up then? Well, in that case, now LeBron James is at the top of the entire list with a total of 11 top 3 finishes. Michael Jordan keeps his spot at second, Kareem drops down to third, and guys like Kobe Bryant, Oscar Robertson, and Jerry West now join the list. There have been many high flyers and great dunkers throughout the years, but the first player to dunk a basketball in an organized game is probably someone that you've never heard of. Joe Fortenberry was an explosive 6'8" player who achieved the first official dunk at Madison Square Garden in 1936. Apparently, Joe was so athletically gifted that he was able to dunk a basketball up until the age of 55. He had a major influence on the league in more ways than one, as he's also the player who's accredited for the inspiration of basketball's goaltending rule, as Joe was known for camping under the basket and easily swatting away balls as they approached. Dennis Rodman is a 2-time Defensive Player of the Year winner and is widely considered as one of the greatest defensive players to ever play. Some would even go as far as saying that he's the very best, although there is certainly plenty of competition for that title. Rodman's defensive reputation is proof that you can't measure a player's defensive greatness with stats alone, because in the entirety of his 14-year career, Rodman never averaged at least 1 steal or 1 block over the course of a season. Not only can no other Defensive Player of the Year winner make that claim, but of the 39 Defensive Player of the Year seasons of league history, Rodman's 2 are the only times a player has won the award without averaging at least 1 block or 1 steal. In the summer of 2006, the NBA decided to change something that they hadn't altered for 35 years, the NBA basketball. The game ball had been traditionally made with a leather exterior, but this time, to start the 2006-07 season, NBA players would be using a microfiber basketball. The league office claimed that this synthetic basketball was the best basketball in the world, but after utilizing it for just a brief period of time, the NBA players had a much different opinion. For example, Shaq said that the ball felt like a toy, he expected percentages to go down league-wide, and the person who came up with the idea should be fired. Other players like Dirk Nowitzki, Steve Nash, Carmelo Anthony, and LeBron James all had complaints as well, and said that the ball was tearing up their fingertips. Apparently, some players even played in practice with band-aids on their fingers. The only superstar who seemed to like the basketball was actually Kobe Bryant, who said the new ball provided a solid grip. He was pretty much alone on this one though. After physicists confirmed that the players were correct in their issues with the ball, that it caused abrasions and it was actually less bouncy, the NBA scrapped the new ball after a 2-month span in the NBA and went back to the traditional leather ball. This whole thing was a big dramatic ordeal for the league that I remember quite well, so it may get its own video at some point. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is the NBA's all-time leading scorer and he has the most MVP awards of all time. But he actually should be the all-time leader of one other important list as well. Hakeem Olajuwon has the most block shots in NBA history with a total of 3,830. Next is Dikembe Mutombo, and sitting at third place is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. The thing is, block shots did not become an official stat until the 1973-74 season, and at that point, Kareem had already completed 4 seasons in the NBA, 2 of which were MVP seasons. If we simply played it conservatively and took the average amount of blocks that Kareem got each season they were tracked, then the average comes out to 199 per season. Add that to the first 4 seasons of Kareem's career, and now he's the all-time leader in blocked shots as well. Of course, Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain would have something to say about this as well if blocked shots had been counted at all during their careers. This is a list of the highest number of assists in an NBA Finals game. Some of the greatest performances from team-first players when the games mattered most. Any guesses on who the players are who made this list? Scratch that, who the player is who made this list, because the first spot is Magic Johnson, and the second, and the third, and the fourth, and the fifth. It's no wonder why so many people consider him as the GOAT point guard. Many people, including yours truly, recognize Bill Laimbeer as the dirtiest player that the NBA has seen. I mean, his nicknames are the Prince of Darkness and his Heinous, which sums him up pretty well. In Larry Bird's own words, Rick Mahorn would hit you playing defense, but Bill Laimbeer would try to hurt you. We know that the game has changed from its physical and punishing days in the 1980s, but no fact may better prove that point than this one. Despite Bill Laimbeer's punishing reputation and consistently dirty behavior, he had a streak where he played in 685 straight games without missing a single contest. That's the 5th longest streak of NBA history. Regardless of the fact that he was constantly getting into fights and punishing opposing players in the paint, he was almost never suspended. Finally, he served a 1-game suspension after getting into this fight with Brad Daugherty, where he actually punches the All-Star center in the face. Apparently, that's what it took to get the league office's attention in the 1980s. The early 1950s was a much different time in the NBA. For one, the shot clock did not exist yet, which means that teams could take more unconventional approaches to try to win basketball games. The night is November 22, 1950. The Minneapolis Lakers were the dominant team of the league, led by their superstar George Mikan. They were also incredibly dominant on their home court, as they were carrying a 29-game home winning streak into this evening. The Fort Wayne Pistons were determined to end the streak by any means necessary, so when the game started, the Pistons played a game of keep-away whenever they had possession of the ball. This not only disrupted the Lakers' offense, but it also resulted in the lowest scoring game in NBA history, where the Pistons snapped the Lakers' streak in a final score of 19-18. George Mikan tried to carry his Lakers as he scored 15 of the Lakers' 19 points, including all 4 of the team's field goals. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough, and just a few years later, the 24-second shot clock was introduced to the NBA, and low-scoring affairs like this officially became a thing of the past. The Lakers and Celtics are the 2 most iconic and illustrious basketball franchises of all time. They also share the league's longest rivalry, which goes back into the days of the league's infancy. The NBA turned 75 years old this season, and despite the league's long life at this point, the Lakers and Celtics are still neck and neck in their rivalry in more ways than one. The 2 franchises are tied at 17 NBA titles apiece, which is a shared record for the most of all time. What's even crazier is how the Celtics have the most wins in NBA history with a total of 3,462, which is only 35 games ahead of second place, which of course is the Los Angeles Lakers. Their lifelong winning percentage is separated by only 0.5%. Literally, a season or 2 can be the difference in who holds the number 1 spot for the most wins in NBA history. I know I'll be watching it closely over the next couple years. Which one of these facts was the most interesting, and do you have any new facts to share with the rest of us? Let me know in the comments section below. Thanks for watching as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more basketball content, and I'll see you guys on the next video.